Hey guys, Jeff with Wisconsin RC Construction. I am here at my table. I've been working on my Huina 580, and that's pretty much what this video is about today. I wanted to do a 2-year review on the Magnum version of the Huina 580, 1580. I have had this now 2 years. I've had a lot of small things go wrong with this. I've had a lot of big upgrades that I've did to this. I've had some things that I've added to it to make it be what I wanted to do. So let me get this flipped around and we can go into it. Alright, so here we have your 1580. The arm is stock. You have your hydraulic system upgrades. Okay, let me tilt this down just a little bit more. Hey, there we go. Alright, so the things that I have done and changed to this, I have actually added 2 electrical outlets right here. So those are on 2 different speed controllers. That allows me to run different attachments. One of the other attachments that I do have is I do have this 360 rotation bucket on a 3D printed landscape bucket. And I really do like it. I just got that set up today, and I'm really looking forward to using that one in the next couple of weeks. Some of your other things that I've done is I have added kind of your hooks off the rear, and I have added them in the front, back, in here as well. I'm not going to flip it around, but they basically just go onto the cross brace in the back here. I may be adding another set later, not really sure. Take the top off, you pull off your top. They do have this glued together, so that's kind of nice. Whereas the Magnum, or the standard Huina version, you just pull this off and this part stays affixed to the excavator. I did make this so it's removable. They all are removable. I don't put the screws back in it. I may only put 2 in there, or 3 at best. So I do have a rotating beacon up there, and I do have this so I can just unplug this so I can remove my top plate. From here it gets a little more interesting. So this comes with the Turnigy 9X remote. I have run that for 2 years up until today. I wanted to add 2 more channels, like I was saying, to add to the 2 outlets in the front. So the 2 outlets in the front needed 2 different speed controllers to run them. I am just using those little blister packed ESCs. I knew I had one up here. Here we go. These little blister packed ESCs. Nothing special. And I do have them wired in. I did try wiring them to their Magnum special PCB board. One side's negative, one side's positive, without any success. I had issues getting the ESCs powered. I don't know why. Really not sure as to what's going on with that. So I pulled it out and I put in a block. Just a big junction block with 2 post terminals on it. I will be switching those out to some Waggle blocks. They are going to be a little nicer because they're a little bit smaller. One of the things I really want to do to this is I want to be able to put all of my electronics where they would normally sit. I want to put them all back behind the hydraulic pump. I think that would really clean things up a bit. I have a 10-channel Fly Sky receiver. I have my 3 Magnum ESCs, and I have rewrapped them with just black shrink wrap to keep them nice and safe. The 2 new ones are down here, and then here is my temporary block right now. Yes, it's big, it's bulky, it takes up way too much room. Not a big fan of that. So I will be changing that over to something smaller. Like I said, I want to be able to take a lot of this and move it up into this space right here. I do have some void right here, so I will be shortening up the ESCs. I will be shortening up a lot of the extra wires and getting stuff moved out of the way. I have slowly but surely been taking all this stuff out. I want to be able to get my grinder in here, and I want to be able to take down the posts and all the excess high points that you don't use. Like now that I have this hydraulic, I don't use the speaker port that was originally in for the Huina setup. I don't use it. Doesn't work for me. So I ground that down, and I'm still grinding it down. It made a big mess, so I do have to take all this out, and I am going to be I think I'm just going to remove it all so I can get to just the bottom plate, just to be able to keep what I need in this area. What prompted all this is I had a track motor go bad. So I had one of these track motors. Actually, the motor itself failed. Okay, so if anybody has ever taken a look inside of these motors, there is massive gear reduction. There you go. Inside these motors. So a 5 amp speed controller for this I feel is adequate, and I don't feel the need that I need to update or upgrade my ESC to something more powerful, due to the fact this is geared down so much that it's just, you're running a 380 motor with little to no load on it. I know some guys will argue differently, saying that the spring that's inside the belt inside the tensioner is too tight, and that's why Woolbox sells the new tensioners. So you can get a new tensioner for your track. It's a little bit lighter of a spring. They say it takes the tension off the motor. So I do still have one good motor left. I did order 2 of these, so I ordered a left and a right set because they are keyed. Their mounting tabs are different. They're reversed on each side. So you do have to make sure you order the right orientation for your certain side track that you want. The best thing to do to that is take the undercarriage off that's down there. You have to take apart all the rollers, and you have to obviously pull the track off first. So you pull your track off, you take out all the little roller pins that are on the bottom, and then you can take the undercarriage, drop your undercarriage out, and then you can get access to the bottom side of your slip ring, and then the motors itself. The common problem is the motor comes unsoldered. I've had that happen a handful of times. Twice. Maybe 3 times in the last 2 years. Not really sure as to what was going on with that. But I take it apart, clean it. And that's something that you would normally have to do anyways. I didn't clean this from the prior year, and I should have. There was so much sand and dirt that was in the bottom of the undercarriage, I actually had to take it to the garbage can and dump it out. It was more than I wanted to vacuum up, because it was that much of it. So you do need to make sure you do go into that bottom side every now and then. Make sure you clean it out, especially if you're digging in sand, fine dirt, stuff like that. It will work itself in through the cracks and get it into your stuff. That's the best thing I can say. So, like I said, I spent today getting the radio set up. I switched it over from the Turnigy 9X. I am now running it on one of the i6S's. I do not have the mixes 100% yet. I actually haven't done any mixing yet. I have the pump right now on one of the 3-position switches, so it's off, medium, and high. For right now, it works. Not going to complain about it. It does what I need it to do. The rotation bucket, so the ESC that operates one of the auxiliary ports, that works perfect too. I haven't tested the other one yet. I want to get the arms played around. I want to get into some of the factory attachments, like the breaker, and I think I have the grabber, and I want to see if I can get those to work. That would be really cool to get those 2 attachments to work. So back to here, I have upgraded the motor to the Magnum slew motor. I have also upgraded the gear to this. So most of your Huinas they run this big plastic slew gear. Mine's still sitting here. I upgraded to the metal one, bearings in it, took all the slop out of this. And when I mean that is it that I have for slop, because once I go there, it starts to turn. So there's not a whole lot of slop left in this motor. And it kind of gives it that nice real look to it, because when you do stop, you actually stop. You're not rocking back and forth. So the pump is still running on the brushless ESC that I have in there. I believe that is a 20 amp ESC or maybe a 30 amp ESC. Either way, it's something small. This is just a little 1000 kV outrunner. I did have to make sure I keep my fluid tank filled to its full level, because when you do start digging and getting all the rams fully extended out, which means the boom is all the way up, your arm is tucked in, and your bucket's curled in, you don't have a whole lot of fluid left over in this machine. I do notice the reservoir tank for this is kind of small. I would like to explore the options of getting either a standalone tank, or B, I do have Magum's rock truck, the Brooder conversion, the A680H, and that one does have a significant larger tank, and I would debate on actually putting in a larger tank, just so I don't have those issues. I have a lot of issues with this when we're running it really hard. I do run this on a larger battery. I am running on, normally they come with like your normal battery is one of these little 18650 packs. These things are about 2000 milliamps. Okay, I personally run mine on a 4000 milliamp pack, so I get double the runtime for most of the guys, which means my hydraulic oil gets hotter. I have also kicked around the idea of putting in a radiator to cool the hydraulics fluid so it doesn't overheat. I'm getting too much air bubbles, so I'm fighting that right now. I don't know whether it's because the tank is too small, or it's getting too hot because I'm running it longer. Not sure yet, but I'm trying to find that out, because I would like to keep running this, keep it running longer until I get a different excavator. These are really great machines, guys. Especially if you throw hydraulics in them, they really, really do work. This bucket is clean for the only reason why is because this one is on my 360 rotation arm. I am using this same bucket, so it's a smooth-edged landscape bucket, per se, and it's pretty deep. Okay, I use that on a normal basis to dig in sand into hard pack, and I can peel right through it. That is one of the reasons why I did that. I do have a toothed bucket that's longer. I don't have it on the rotation because I didn't think it would be appropriate. I kept the rotation to be a disconnect. So let's get this bad boy fired up, and I can actually show you what I'm talking about when I'm doing this. So let's get this going. Alright, so we have radar. I'm going to keep this turned around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, we're going to go grab, I like to grab my big boy pack. I'm going to turn the radio on. Yep, that switch has to go up, but then I put it right back down to the middle. Okay, that is not my brushless pump, that is the speed controller for my boom. Okay, there's the beeps from your brushless system, and right now none of my hydraulics work, the rotation works, because I don't have my pump running. As soon as I turn my pump on, okay, I can lift my arm up, I can I'll put the battery pack in here. I kind of spin it around. So you can see this is on a quick disconnect. So this is the bucket that I have. Okay. Here's the 360 rotation mount for it. I'll make sure it gets clipped back in. Alright, so we are clipped back in. I'm going to see if I can bring this up to the camera for you guys better. Let me slide this back. Alright, so I have that bucket on a 3-position switch, which will allow me to dig up. I could rotate and dump. Come on back. And I do have to reverse some of these channels. I did just get this radio set up for it today. I'm still working on getting a lot of it programmed. Like I said, I don't have a lot of it completed yet, but it is. I'm at that good start. So I can shut my pump down, and then I can unplug it when I'm done. Your remote will start beeping at you, and you turn it off. So that's my 2-year review as to the Magnum 580 as they call it. It's the Huina 1580. I do love the hydraulics in it. I think that was probably the best upgrade I can find for this thing. This is a pre-date of the Cabolite. I do have a Cabolite here behind me. That's new to the shop. That is a buddy of mine who just got it shipped in. So, and then that Cabolites do come with the same i6S remotes as any of the upgrades. You cannot get any of the electronics. All you can see is a battery port in the Cabolite. It's a little weird, but it's a bigger machine too, guys. So if you're ever wondering, the Cabolite is definitely a larger machine. So that is the update for the Huina 1580. One of the other things I just wrapped up, actually. So I wrapped up a Mac. This is for my middle son. We wrapped it up a couple weeks ago. I still have lights to detail into it. But he's been driving this thing around like crazy. We have, on the bottom side, I have a custom-made battery tray. So your shorty packs will fit into it. This is stretched out a little bit from what a normal truck is, but it's not as long as what I did for heavy haul. So for a battery pack, I'm just using a little shorty 2200, and the reason why I'm doing that is they fit right in to the pocket. Okay, easy to take in and out. 2200 on a semi-truck will last you a long time. There is suspension in here. Yes, the springs are very squeaky, and yes, the front does have suspension too. These drive systems are from Dillon-Dixon, and I do run them on a lot of my vehicles because they work. Okay, I am running a 3D printed Tamiya bumper on the back of this, and we'll get a little hitch plate on the back here as well, so we can pull some of the tag trailers that we have, because we always don't pull a fifth wheel trailer. But we also have the Tamiya fifth wheel hitch with the servo, and we did diamond plate everything. So it's pretty simple. There's not a lot to this truck. It was a nice and simple build, but it was nice and quick. The diamond plates are nice. I don't have them screwed in. They're actually riveted in. Same with the battery tray. The battery tray is riveted in to keep it held in place, and I can still get all my wiring and all that back to my lights, and I can pull them all underneath this to get it all the way up. The new mounting system for the cabs do make the cab mounting a very sturdy cab, to the point where your front bumper for your Brooder is relatively pretty in there now. It's a lot better than my heavy haul truck, where that one I can't really put any weight on that front bumper. It's mainly for show. I will be changing the cab mounts over and getting it strengthened like I did on this one, because it's a lot nicer. So that's pretty much that. So that is one of the Mack trucks that I built. I am wrapping up the paint job for Pedro. I have been putting the third coat of paint on this thing now. I just wet sanded it yesterday. Took down all the high spots, and I went today to spray on my top final coat, and it's curing right now. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to move it. It's going to sit where it's sitting, and everything should turn out really nice when I'm done, and that's what I'm hoping for. Because once that's done, I can put that RAM back together. I can put the lights together into it, get the speed controller wired up, get it all tested. I still have to order tires for him, but that's not a big deal. Tires will come to me pretty quick. So that's where the RAM is. I did not do a build video for the RAM for Pedro. I was kind of trying to keep that whole thing a secret. He has his own YouTube channel, RC Construction Hobby, I believe. I'll see if I can link to him down below, so you can check out his page. Like and subscribe to both of our pages. He does his stuff. He does a lot of out and going videos. I do a lot of build stuff. I do run my stuff a lot. I do break my stuff a lot. But I can't run and video record. Too hard for me to do it, especially when I'm doing it on my phone. But I do a lot of build stuff, and I explain a lot of build stuff. So your Brooder Cat wheeled skid steer is almost complete as well. I have the servo drives in here. Not 100% sure I'm keeping these in here. These are FS90Rs. I don't know if anybody else has had issues with them walking. I do. So, not really happy with that. But I do have the motor. I went and purchased the Magnum lift system for your wheeled excavators, or your not wheeled excavator, but your wheeled Bobcat. So it's motor, gear reduction, and it lifts right here. I do like it. It runs really good. All you have left to do is to get your dump to work. She will be running a smaller battery pack, somewhere in the lines of like these little guys. And yeah, I will have the switch for this is underneath the seat. And again, I'm using one of those little red blister packed ESCs. Okay. These are supposedly 20 amp ESCs. I don't know how true that is, but I'm running that for the lift motor itself for the gear reduction. So that's where we're at with that, guys. I do have some servo reversing units. I do have a lot of slack on the wires. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily keep them. I do like the idea of just plug and play. The only fact is everything's servo on this, so I'd have to get a Y adapter to run the rears anyways. So if I'm going to do that, I may end up cutting these and making the lead shorter and then putting 2 channels into one. But if I have too much walking issues with these servos, I may end up taking the servo boards out of them and making these just motors, which will leave me to put in 2 more of these, one for the left side and one for the right side. Or I have, nope, not that one. I do have a dual tracked one that looks identical to this. Thought I had one more of them, guys, but it doesn't look like I do. I got a lot of stuff in this little top drawer here. It is very identical. It looks very similar to it, to the point where you have to actually look for an extra wire coming out of the servo. There will be a little white lead, or not white, a yellow lead that comes off of this, and it would go into what they would call a flip channel. I don't have one right now. Actually, the last one I used was in this bad boy that you guys really haven't seen much of. Ooh, buddy. Okay. Yes, this is a lasso. Alright. Yes, it's a lasso. Yes, it's very heavy. There's not a lot of room in this. I'm trying to figure out how to put all this together. It is a hydraulic nightmare. She leaks. I don't know if that's necessarily always a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. How about that? I do like this thing. I like the fact that it moves really well. I like the fact the clam bucket is really nice. You are cramped for space in this thing. I have been told the little dual motored ESC, and like I said, this one has that yellow flip wire in it, so you have power coming in, 2 motors going out. Let me pull all this apart. And this is why I say it's a wiring nightmare, because you do have a 3-block servo, or a 3-block hydraulic system in the back. So you do have 2 individual motor leads that come out. Now, I probably will end up cutting these and shortening them, because I don't know if I'm going to end up keeping this. I've been testing this, and this does get quite worn. I am thinking about switching it out to a saber tooth and sticking it right up here where the battery normally would go, and then figuring out somewhere else to put a battery. Not 100% sure yet, but this thing is really fun. There is lights all over the place. It does require a 10-channel radio to run this thing. You gain access to all of that through the back door here. Opens up, and then you can get access to your pump and your backside of hydraulic block. To fill it is a whole other issue. When the cab is off, you get access to the tank. Your tank is actually right up front. There is a breather valve in it, and I was having a lot of issues. I think we have my tank problem figured out, where I need to keep the hydraulic pump running to some extent on this 100% of the time, whether it be at a lower speed. So I do have a mix onto this where it was an on-demand for the 3 different channels. I also first put it on a 3-position switch, kind of like my Magnum, so off, medium, and high, and from there, that's what I started running it as. Somebody made a comment that says, oh, if you leave it run, the hydraulic pump run all the time while you're not using it, you'll burn the pump up and you'll have more issues with the lasso units. So I made some mixes on it. So I shut the pump off, made a mix, then I started having overflowing issues. Come to find out, no, you need to have the pump running, at least in my experience on this, at a bare minimum a slower speed, so the return can actually work and your pump will actually function. I haven't had any overflow issues since I let the pump run at a lower speed. So this is one of the projects that is yet to be finished, and I'm going to finish this. I'm just waiting for a little bit of stuff. I'm going to order up the Sabertooth dual 5 amp. I think that should be sufficient. I don't know what else I could do. The Servonaut one is also a nice one, or I've been debating on ordering those little ESCs from Magum. The ESCs from Magum do not have a BEC built into them, but that's okay because this one has a 20 amp brushless speed controller in it, which has my BEC. So, like I said, there's a lot of thinking I need to do. What's going to run best for it? I need to really keep size in mind because I would like to keep a decent battery in it. Excuse me. I would like to run something about this. This is about 1,000 milliamp, maybe 800-ish. I know I won't be able to put in a 2,000 milliamp. It's not going to fit. It's too wide for the space. But those 800s, I could probably find something along that line that'll work really good. So that's been my updates. And my Huina update, the Mack truck, and all that. So, 2 things to finish, and I'll be good. So, I know summer's coming up. There's a lot of shows coming up, guys. Keep checking out on the Facebook group, WIRC Construction. I do post any show link that I get posted up there. So if you're looking for a show in your local area, I will have them posted. Right now there's one in Florida. There's one in somewhere out west. I want to say Idaho, I believe, is one of the other ones that I have posted. And there is another one out east that I did see. None of it is close enough to me that I am able to make it, so I will probably have to wait until I get a closer show, and we'll go to that one. So, but I'm going to get going. I got some stuff I got to build. I got some stuff I need to figure out. I'm happy my excavator's done. I can actually put it all back together now, and I will be all ready for summer on that one. It's primed and ready to go since it's been down pretty much all winter long. So I didn't have it at any of the shows for any Cabin Fever event. Oof. That Lasso model's got some weight to it. That will have to go on to the Brooder triaxle trailer because my 3D printed trailers are not heavy duty enough to support that kind of weight. Yeah. Those things, that probably weighs as much as the Huina excavators. So, one of the other things I've been doing, I've been printing cones. So, how's that? Or how about this? Watch that. There's 5 to a stack, guys. So I got enough cones here to last me a while. I'm going to be selling some of these cones because I don't need them all. I do have my own stash of cones. This is a bright yellow. They will be cleaned because I have a little bit of edging on them on some of the sides, just where the retraction wasn't. So they're cleaned. I throw a little bit of heat on them so any white spot turns back to yellow. But these are more bright yellow cones. I do not have any other color right now. I don't plan on it. But these are a decent sized cone. I am not painting the bottom of them. I will be selling these just like I sell the chain binders in multiple colors for people. But I will not be painting these, and I will not be probably doing any other colors. Cones need to be yellow for safety. So that's about it for tonight, guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get this processed, and it will be posted. Well, you'll see it when it's posted. But it's Sunday night, about 8 o'clock for me. I don't know where everybody else is, but you'll be catching this, and I will probably be in bed by the time it uploads, and I'm done editing it. So You guys have yourself a great evening, and I'll catch you later.